Yay. Yay, Chiefs. Good for you. Now you stir up all of these fair weather fans like persnickety shovel up his ass Jay, and you put it up in my face. And you know what? I want to let our little Jets flag wave this week.
Welcome to Three Cranky Jets Fans. I am Joe Close-Marone, and here with me, as always, Trisha Close-Marone and Matt Callahan. We've been on hiatus for a couple of weeks, taking a little breather after the Jets season was finally put out of its misery. Tonight, we are going to welcome in the new regime, with the Jets hiring a new head coach, Aaron Glenn, and new GM, Darren Mougey. We'll talk about some playoff results and little things here and there. And finally, we will preview Super Bowl 59, Chiefs versus Eagles. But first, Matt, how you doing, buddy?
I'm okay. Well, how are you?
I'm great. Great. Feeling good. How are things up in New York?
Pretty normal, I'd say. About the same.
Not too,
Is it
too
still
cold?
super cold there?
No, it's like 30. I mean, it's cold, but it's not bitter cold.
Did your dad like our last shout out? Did he mention it at all? He didn't listen, did he?
He didn't listen.
It's like, what's a podcast?
Dad, for your birthday, I got you a podcast.
Put it on tape for me.
It's not on the radio. I don't want to hear
it. We could make a record of that episode.
Yeah. He does have a record player.
Oh, we should do that. That would be cool.
You imagine your voices just like scratching, like Jets, 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 Jets. That was my scratching impersonation, in case anyone was curious what just happened.
That's what it is.
I'd love to hear your cat impersonation. Meow, 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 meow.
I was saying Jets, 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 Jets.
Beatbox.
Scratch, scratch.
Oh, I don't know. Where am I? I don't know. Yeah. Trisha, how are you?
Yeah, doing well. I mean, I'm doing okay. You know, it's like the weirdest time in the world. I saw this meme today that really resonated, like, inside of my soul. Basically, it said, it was like, "Oh my God, it's been such a long year," and the person responds in the little picture and says, "It's January." You know.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, that's like, it's a lot.
It's been one of those months for sure.
I think January gets me every year, but this particular one, I kind of forgot it was going to do its thing. So, yeah, I'm doing okay. All is well. Nothing. I mean, the world may or may not be on fire. I have to stop looking at headlines.
We've stuck our heads in the sand a little bit just for the surprise.
World War III's here. Yeah. Anyway, football's been okay though. Football's been. I like this time of year in terms of watching playoff games and watching good football.
Yeah, it's been an interesting playoff season. There's been
it's all been good. Yeah, it's been interesting. It's been, but it's always like, what's going to happen? There's a lot of that anticipation at this time.
Right. Yeah, a lot of high stakes stuff. Well, let's get through our first bit. We're going to talk about the Jets hiring Aaron Glenn and Darren Mougey. The Jets in the 33rd team have finally concluded their search, and after interviewing everyone who's ever heard of football, and they land on Aaron Glenn from the Lions.
Who's ever heard of football?
And then a few days later, Darren Mougey from the Broncos. I mean, we want to give them shit for interviewing so many people, but I mean, you can't really fault them for like being thorough. At the end of the day, though. It was pretty obvious they were going to go with Aaron Glenn. And, I mean, Darren Mougey, I don't know this guy from, anybody. Adam, yeah, that's a praise. Yeah. But we'll see. Hopefully he's got some nice reviews, but the GM, let's talk about him first. Darren Mougey, he's coming to us from the Denver Broncos. That's where he started his career as a front office guy in the business side of football. He was a player in college, and for 2 years as a pro. He was an undrafted free agent for 2 years as a quarterback. So, career never took off. He kind of saw the writing on the wall there and said, I've always been interested in team building and the business side of football. I'd like to, see what I can do there. So he gets a job with the Broncos, I think in 2013 or 2012. And he stays there through that entire time, starts as an intern in the scouting department, works his way up through there, and goes through the ranks into the executive team and finally becomes their assistant GM for the past 2 years. So he's got good reviews from Denver. He's actually met with Aaron Glenn before when they had interviewed him for the head coaching position a couple of years ago, but instead went with who else but Nathaniel Hackett for head coach. That's not his call necessarily. Apparently he was pushing for Kevin O'Connell, which would have been an excellent hire, but he's part of that failed experiment. What do you guys, any opinions on Darren Mougey?
I like saying Mougey.
Yeah. I thought it was Mougey at first, but apparently
that's what I thought too.
Both are kind of fun to say.
Yeah.
I thought it was Moochy. He's Moochy.
Moochy? Moochy the Smoochy?
Smoochy. Yeah, his name is fun to say.
Move over, Mougey. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of fun ones, I think, with that.
More Mougey, more problems.
Hopefully not.
It is interesting how, you haven't talked about Aaron Glenn yet, but they both have scouting experience.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that, like you said, both have scouting experience. Usually with a GM, they either are very knowledgeable or like experts at contract negotiation, or they come from the football side of things and know the scouting, and they're like football people, and then they hire people to do contract negotiations.
It seems like he is a football person, right? He played in college.
Yeah.
He's got that. Yeah, that background. Does anyone know where he played in school?
I don't know in school. I think he played for the Falcons and
San Diego
I can't remember.
He was undrafted as a receiver from San Diego State.
So I got a little mixed up there. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he's kind of has a little experience all over the country.
But the people that he's worked with, the people that he's gotten to know throughout the league, these people, they get to know people from other teams when they're doing these interviews and things like that. And it's a close-knit group. But these impressions that they make on each other, especially within an organization, and he was part of an older regime that was kept by a new one coming in. So like he did raise some eyebrows with new people coming into Denver, and they decided to keep him and ultimately became like a right-hand man for their GM over there, which, is saying something considering it wasn't that person, that regime's plan. Like he wasn't part of that, but he proved himself, worthy of keeping, and then of course rising up through the ranks and pretty quickly. So those are all promising signs, but we don't know exactly what he had a hand in for any signings done over there, deals being negotiated, or a player scouted. So it's, it's hard to say for sure. But and the same is true with coaching. they're both first time in that role, and it's going to be, a sink or swim kind of scenario.
Well, they're going to be working with the Jets, so it's going to be a lot of sinking. It's going to be a lot of.
They better be good swimmers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on. Like I said, there's not a whole lot to speculate on with him. To your point, Trisha, it could be a whole lot of sinking, especially the one common denominator of this organization being Woody Johnson and his meddling. He did mention during the press conference yesterday that he's got to take a deep look in the mirror.
What he did?
Yeah. As an owner and what his role has been. I mean, take what you will out of that. He's going to say whatever he's going to say. He's trying to save face in the media because he does care what fans and the media say about him. I think he's probably going to be his typical self, where he'll maybe give this regime a year and maybe then start like poking his nose in and saying like, I don't want you to do that.
I don't know. Make it that long. I mean, he's 77 years old. He's not and want for anything. Like, football is his hobby, and he owns a team. So, I don't know. I think he's gonna do what he's gonna do.
Yeah, he is a fan, though. I will say, like,
yeah, but this is like his hobby, right? So, like, why would he sit on his hands when he could?
Yeah, he thinks he knows what he's doing is the problem.
Yeah, he's a fan. It's not just like, this is not just an investment for him.
Right. And unfortunately, he listens to fans a lot. And, sometimes we're dumb. I wanted a lot of the moves that he made.
I mean, honestly, like, you look at the internet, you can get anything you want at any time. You want somebody to like affirm you, there it is. You want somebody to disagree with you, there it is. So
there are not many people affirming Woody Johnson.
I don't know.
Anyway, let's talk about Aaron Glenn. Trisha, I know you were really hoping for a head coach with previous head coaching experience, famously asking for the potato head coach, Tony Romo. Who we later identified as Tony Dungy.
Did you hear about this, Matt?
No.
Oh my God. Really? I thought you guys might have talked about it.
I thought I mentioned it. I think I mentioned it in the last episode.
Oh man.
I don't remember you calling him Tony Romo though. I remember the potato head comment.
So like, yeah, I just wanted a head coach who had done it before, because that feels right. Right?
Right.
I don't know. It's like a big job. It feels like a really big job to have somebody in there who's never head coached anywhere. Like, give me a high school head coach. Give me a college head coach. Just give me a head coach.
Well, that's tricky because high school. Okay.
I know I'm not.
I can't imagine a high school, but the transition, like if you statistically look at college coaches, head coaches going directly into the NFL as head coaches, it's like real trash.
Lou Holtz.
No.
I don't need direct into it. Like, I need my, flag football 7-year-old head coach to like then move up to the high school, like, water boy, and then after some years he goes on to be the high school like assistant coach, and then the high school, like, I just need there to be a little bit of time put in there where you have actually head coached, where you
the flag football
parts. I want to know that somebody sees the game holistically. Like, how many the Jets are infamous for getting a defensive coordinator and putting them in as head coach, and then they don't perform on offense. And
Yeah.
so if you want my opinion, there it is. That's what I see coming. I see somebody else who can't call plays, who can't run offense, and yay, we've done that for the last 7 years. So, except for this year in which our defense fell apart. Um yeah, that's I don't know. I want to feel hopeful, but that's my genuine reflection.
That's a fair point. I can't argue with you there.
Yeah.
Matt, what do you think?
I don't think the problem with the Jets have been their head coaching problems.
Ooh.
I
Back
mean,
to
in the
Woody.
end, I don't think they've had great head coaches, but I don't think that's what's been causing all this problems.
Could you expound a little bit?
No, I think it's just ownership and the Jets themselves.
I can agree with that.
It could be like GM problems. I don't know, but
with the exception of Adam Gase, he was just atrocious.
True.
Todd Bowles I liked, and he's proven to be a good head coach now.
He's been terrible.
Oh. I'm sorry, what?
Who'd you say?
Todd Bowles.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't mind him that much.
Who did you say before that? I missed it. Or what did
I was just saying overall, I don't think the main issue with this team has been head coaching for the past 20 years.
Trisha is
it's just the Jets
chomping at the bit to get a point out.
This is my question for you, Matt. Do you think it would be beneficial to have a head coach who could call plays?
Of course, but I don't think that's been their problem. I think their play calling hasn't been good, but I don't think, if I look at the past history of the Jets and say, what could I fix right now? That's the issue. I don't think it's head coaching. I think it's the team makeup and the ownership and that.
Well, let's kind of go to what their options were, right? And if you want to look at previous head coaches, or really at any level, you had Bill Belichick, Pete Carroll, and Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel used the Jets as a springboard to land the Patriots job. He was never coming here. Pete Carroll has already coached for the Jets and failed. He took a job with the Raiders, but he was not going to come back here. And then Bill Belichick, I mean, come on. I would probably riot in the streets if he did come. I would not be happy about that. And, any Jets fan that would be, I'd have to question your elk on that one, because he just really did us dirty for 20 years. And he's kind of over the hill.
Yeah. I think he's
and
done.
Again, probably using that situation as a springboard for another job that he wanted more.
Like he did before.
Right. So, right off the bat, head coaching candidates or with previous experience were already out. It wasn't happening. Then you look at coaches like guru coaches. There's really only two. And that's...
Did you say guru?
Coaches? Yeah, like coaches, offensive coordinators, play callers.
Coaches?
Coaches.
Yeah, I said coaches, but maybe it was just like a pronunciation. I don't know.
Yeah,
Coaches.
I was like, is that a person? Guru Coaches? Who's Guru Coaches? That's a cool name. I'm doing my kid Guru. So you're talking about guru coaches.
Coaches. Especially on the offensive side of the ball. There's really only two. Well, you could say three if you want to include Bobby Slowick, but he was meh at best this year. Then there's Cohen from the Bucks, and I don't think there was interest on either side there. It didn't look like he was going to come here. He wanted a quarterback in place. He wanted a good system or situation known, right? And that's not the Jets. And then Ben Johnson, clear as day, not interested in the Jets. And they said they weren't totally interested in him, but they probably would have hired him in a second, but he was not coming here. So all those guys just were not available. And what we're left with is guys that we hope can be those next level coaches that, yeah, they've done a coordinator position, but in this scenario, the ideal hope is that he will become more of a CEO, because he wasn't outstanding as a defensive coordinator, but he's got a ton of experiences behind his belt as a player and as a coach, as a scout. He's just done everything that you can do within an organization that's meaningful. So, I mean, I don't know. With this organization, nothing is gonna surprise me. He might be an awesome coach, and they still suck.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he might be an awful coach, and they rise above expectations despite him. Yeah, I just don't know, but I feel optimistic about it. I think Aaron Glenn, the only reason I didn't want him was because I like him as a Jets player, and I don't want his reputation to be ruined because he was a great Jet.
I think he'd have to be terrible for his reputation to be ruined, because he's walking into a situation that already stinks, and no one's going to be like, well, this guy wrecked this team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'd just be like, you know, look what he had to work with.
Well, the Jets killed another one.
Yeah, they did it again.
Yeah. Yeah,
Another
maybe.
one bites the dust.
I mean, I like that he learned under Bill Parcells. He's the last coach I truly liked the most.
Yeah, let's talk about some of that background. Bill Parcells is like all-time great as far as head coaches. He played under Bill Parcells, and Parcells ultimately got him his start in coaching and insisted that he start in the scouting department. And when he came in, he was like actually fetching coffee for the scouts. This is a 3-time Pro Bowler coming in and doing grunt work in the scouting department. Like, when they say he started at the bottom, he did that, and he bought into the idea that was important. When I say the range of experiences that he's had are important or make me optimistic, that there really is a lot. And especially when it comes to motivating players, Bill Parcells was an all-time great, and he cites how Bill Parcells did that for him. And like, one of the most famous things is that Bill Parcells put in Aaron Glenn's locker as a player a dollhouse, right?
What does that mean?
For every game they played, he would tape the name of the receiver that Aaron Glenn would primarily be defending, and he would say, if you let this guy in your house, if he beats you, he stays there the rest of the season. If not, we cross his name off. And like, that proved to be a great motivator for Aaron Glenn. He famously would say, nobody gets in my house, you know. And that's where that came from. So
I wish I could see a picture of this dog.
It's I don't know.
Like Bill Parcells each like having a little figure doll of the receiver that he'd put in the house later, like sneaking in there and putting in like,
and then it would fire somebody up. And like, he'd also say, you know, I'm going to give you safety help this game because you're going to need help against whatever receiver. And that would just piss Aaron Glenn off to no end. So I don't need that. I'm going to show you. And
interesting.
You know, sure enough, he's got two Pro Bowl seasons under Bill Parcells. And you know, he played for that 98 team where they went to the AFC Conference Championship. And I mean, they should have won against the Broncos, but they were a better team, really, and gone to the Super Bowl, but just kind of shit luck in that one. And I
just want to say for the record that was Ollie, the dog, groaning in the background. That was not anything from my body. That was our dog.
I don't know if it'll come through on the recording. It did sound like some tummy rumbles or some tooting. I thought that was maybe Matt.
Yeah, the mic doesn't
like, talk about the dollhouse. Talk about the dollhouse.
Oh my gosh.
That's so funny.
Yeah, we shall see. Only time will tell. And I'm not like upset at Aaron Glenn. I want everything to go well. I don't mean to be difficult just to be difficult.
No, I mean your arguments are valid. I'm just pointing out reason for excitement potentially.
Oh, Joe, you're such an excited fan. Why is Joe always so positive?
They got you again.
They got you again. I know.
I like Aaron Glenn.
I hope you still do. In a year.
I do too. I really do.
I think you really do. The name of the podcast. The name of the podcast, Joe.
Yeah.
He's gonna change it.
He's so cute.
Two cranky and one hopeful.
Hey, I've been cranky for months.
Oh
right?
Man, years.
Well, you know, it's the off season now, technically.
The only thing I don't like is the mention of Sean Payton.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I said I really like that he, studied and learned and everything under Bill Parcells. And then, like, reading your other notes, the thing I don't like is Sean Payton.
I know, but you can't argue that he's a great coach.
Yeah, I know.
He's just an annoying human,
and he's annoying.
Yeah,
anti-visors.
I think I just don't like coaches who wear visors. I've come to think
that is a thing.
I don't think it's a good look.
Oh my God, you sound like me, Matt.
It's not even. It's like, oh, he's wearing a visor. I don't like him.
Like, who goes through life choosing to wear a visor?
Right. You could literally wear any hat in the world, but you're like choosing to wear a visor on the sidelines when you know you're going to be...
You get skin cancer on your scalp.
Yeah. I mean, thankfully, I
mean, that's pretty bad. I don't actually ever... I don't want that, but...
I'm trying to think if there are any bald coaches that have worn visors.
With a visor, you could be covering up your head. That there is protection available to you. What a bad choice. Do you guys remember the guy? I'm sure you know who this is. The guy who wore the visor, but it was like the fake hair on top.
There wasn't a coach who did that, I don't think.
There was. He coached for the Seahawks. Okay, I gotta go back. It was like maybe 10 years ago.
That would have been Pete Carroll.
Yeah, it's Pete Carroll.
But he didn't wear a hat at all.
He wore a visor, and he had the fake hair.
Maybe it was a joke. He didn't do that every week.
Okay, hang on a second. Hang on. Maybe
he almost never wore a hat.
Yeah, he never wears it.
He still has his... Well, he might wear a toupee. I don't know.
He has worn a visor. There's pictures of him.
Oh, he's definitely worn a visor. And it looks like that fake hair one that you buy at the store. It's like a gag gift.
Maybe. He's old. He's like 70-something.
Good for him.
He's just gotten a new job with the Raiders as head coach.
I mean, that's...
But he does... Like, he's like healthier than I am. I'm not even kidding. He's like really...
Good for him. Yeah, you gotta... He's like working. He's got a dream job. He's healthy. Yeah, props to Pete Carroll and his weird visor. I don't know if that was it, guys. I'll have to do some research this week and get back to you on the visor guy. I think that we should stay on topic and make our way down the conversation.
We should do like a special feature one week. Coaches who wear visors.
Just like dissect like
throughout coaches wearing visors throughout history.
Has a coach who wears a visor ever won a Super Bowl?
Well, yeah, Sean Payton has.
Oh, the whole episode's already fallen apart.
I mean, there's one. Oh, well, actually, if Pete Carroll definitely did, he also won a Super Bowl.
I think the episode's happening right now.
Those are the only two that I know of.
Guys, what else are we talking about tonight? Anybody else got anything else?
All right, let's go into the playoffs. Matt, talk to us.
Yeah, the playoffs happened. We've got the Chiefs versus the Eagles. They're not much of a surprise that they're in there. What do you guys think? We got controversies, of course. Everybody's screaming about the refs.
Yeah.
Handing the game to the Chiefs. I saw a picture, like, was there a call that it looked like the ball was hitting the ground and they ruled it a catch? I kept seeing a lot of pictures from Bills fans today of that.
There might have been.
Yes.
Yeah,
I must have
remember
missed that call.
That was one I remember watching it and thinking, like, well, you can't overturn that on the by the look of it on the field. Like, it didn't move when it hit the ground at all. You know, and usually that's what they use as a like an indicator of whether there was control. So like it really didn't jostle at all when it hit the ground. But at the same time, like the way it hit the ground, it might have like made the catch more firm. You know,
right? It was only a still shot I saw.
Yeah, it was a weird one.
The whole game was so frustrating. I'm really I've taken this game personally. I'm upset about it. I don't even really like the Bills that much. Like, fine, Josh Allen and his stupid rat eyes. Fine, like he lost. What's going on for me is like the Bills resonate this part of me that's like, you know what? Give him a chance. You guys could have made it. You got so far. And then like the Chiefs just came in year after year and got favoritism with the refs. I don't know. I woke up on Sunday morning and I said to Joe, I was like, I really hope the Bills win tonight. Like I just feel like they were going to be our guiding light as Jets fans, you know. And then to think like you can get that far and then it's just over. It's just over. A couple little plays. Poof. All that hard work is gone.
Yeah. I mean, Josh Allen was like despondent on the sideline.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, I have a hard time rooting for the Bills because they're a division rival.
Right.
So yeah. I didn't feel bad for them at all. And I don't want to watch them in a Super Bowl, if I'm being honest.
You'd rather watch the Chiefs again?
I don't care about the Chiefs, or like, you know, they have no relevance for me necessarily. But the Bills do.
They're going for the triple. They're going to go for their third Super Bowl.
And that's impressive. I do think that the game or these playoffs for the Chiefs have like brought to light some officiating inadequacies, right? Where, I mean, the game moves so fast and these schmoes on the sideline can't see for shit what the fuck is going on half the time. So to say like they actually have any idea, the things they do catch is amazing, you know. And it's when they slow it down on camera, it's like we can pick out certain things that are like, wow, that I can't believe they got this wrong, but it's slowed down like 100 times, right? Yeah. And they're seeing that in a split second
with noise and crowds and lots of bodies,
and in the home field of the Chiefs too. Yeah. So like there is a safety concern in some situations, I would imagine. But like just I could imagine where they err on the side of, you know, one thing over the other, and especially with QBs and how much money is invested in quarterbacks. And I will say the way Patrick Mahomes like manipulates these runs, and he'll run and like fake like he's gonna slide. Will he? Won't he slide? Will he? Won't he run out of bounds? And then he draws these personal fouls or like roughing the passer calls and things like that. Like that needs to be changed or needs to be fixed, because this is really like one or two players.
Just make it reviewable.
make it reviewable, right?
Well, I'm confused because I thought that was good what he was doing.
It's very impressive.
He should
while it's not a reviewable play, he should be doing everything he can to take advantage of that
right.
situation.
There's nothing against
as a player
his style of play. It's more like it causes roughing the passer because they don't know if he's going to slide or not, so they hit him.
Yeah,
but that's good though, right?
Not when they call the penalty. Like it is good, but like.
But if you look back at like the Texans game, there was a roughing the passer call, and it was like an unnecessary roughness or something like that. In neither of those plays, he wasn't like hit hard in either of those, and in one of them, he actually wasn't really even hit at all. But on the field, they called it that way, and they couldn't review it. Right? It looked like he was, but he wasn't. So it was just like, these are devastating plays for the opponent.
Yeah, and it's just like when Tom Brady played. Like, if he got touched, it's an immediate flag. Mm-hmm. Like, it's the same thing now with Mahomes.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. So I played basketball from when I was 8 until like all the way through high school. And you're trained basically to pick up the foul. Like, you want people to foul you, right? Like, you set yourself up, you move your body in such a way that like they are going to foul you, and then you're going to either get possession or you're going to get to shoot the ball. And so to me, it feels like Mahomes is smart.
No, he is.
He is.
We're not arguing against
that
Mahomes.
point.
It's against the sport because no one wants to sit there and just watch the teams move from penalties.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah, so that's something that they should change to make the game better and take away an element of these quarterbacks, because any quarterback can do that if they're smart enough or move well enough.
It takes a lot, though. You got to be able to trip up the defender, right? Like, you've got to be able to, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's already weighted for the quarter. They're protecting the quarterbacks too, because they're such huge investments.
Yeah, I mean, they're making $250 million in 4 years.
Like, okay.
They're huge investments, and the game is so much worse without them in it. So it does make a difference, but at the end of the day, we do have to make it.
What's the solution?
Just make those plays reviewable, so they can have New York, the headquarters, look at those plays in real time and call in a change, like, oh, that wasn't actually roughing the passer, or that wasn't actually an unnecessary roughness. Or the officiating team can look at it as a reviewable play, like they do with turnovers and touchdowns. Every touchdown that's scored, they take a deeper look if it's questionable, right? Or a turnover. And
so we can't review penalties right now?
No. They experimented with that with defensive pass interference calls a couple of years ago, and it was god awful.
Yeah.
But and then eliminated. They tried it for 1 year, and then we're like, no, we're not doing that. That was terrible.
Was it awful because it slowed things down drastically, and it was just like way too clumsy?
Yeah, and I think they kind of purposely did it that way. Now with the way they have the headquarters calling in certain scenarios where they're saying, no, you got it wrong on this one.
Yeah, don't they do
it makes it a lot
turnovers better. And touchdowns?
Yeah, they do
automatically reviewed.
Mm-hmm.
If they just do it really quickly,
much quicker. There's not very often a scenario anymore where you see a referee under a hooded booth staring at different angles of video for 5 minutes, pausing a game. Usually, at most, it's like 2 minutes.
Which is because of technology.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
So I think at this point, that should be reviewable, and it'll make the game better. And still keep quarterbacks safe, ideally. I mean, try it. I think they'll do it this year. I don't know for sure, but...
what about the Eagles, guys? Anybody watch the Eagles game?
Yes, at the beginning.
Yeah, at the beginning as well. I watched like the first half. Oh, for sure.
Peter's super happy. He's been wanting this since he was a kid. So I'm feeling.
I mean, he's gotten 3 Super Bowl appearances.
Well,
in the
doesn't make him
past,
stop
like,
wanting it.
what, 7 years? And
The
one
only guy I
Super
like,
Bowl
where I
win?
want is where I'm happy for is Saquon Barkley. I've always
Yeah,
liked
I'm
him.
happy for Saquon.
Had an awesome game too. Like just
I mean, just
immediate
an epic
touchdown.
season.
Yeah, he's just been amazing.
What
And
makes you like him?
I've just always liked immediately when he came on. I think it's because his first season I had him on my fantasy team, and I had him on my fantasy team this year. But I mean, since he plays for the Giants, or he played for the Giants, I got to see him a lot because the Giants are always on too. And I just always thought he was. I've always liked running backs.
Yeah, and he seems like a stand-up guy.
So
he grew up a Jets fan.
Oh yeah, he grew up a Jets fan. I've always liked how he plays, and he's now showing. I mean, I don't think he was ever undervalued that much anyway. Like everybody knew he was great, but now he's like really showing it off on the national stage instead of just locally.
Yeah.
And now he gets to try to do it in the Super Bowl, which he was not going to do for the Giants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles are looking good. I don't like their head coach very much, but just got like major douche vibes. Nick Sirianni. It's just a vibe.
I do like watching the Eagles. Like their football's always been fun to watch.
They're interesting. Did you hear about this AJ Brown thing on the sidelines during the divisional round with the book, reading the book?
Yeah. Oh no, I was watching. I saw him pull that out during, and I was like, "What book is that?" But I guess he's done it before in games. It's like a motivational book.
I thought it was like a pouty move because he's like criticized the passing game recently, but I think it legit like he does pull it out of.
Yeah, and it was like I would have been really funny if it was like a novel or something that he's just reading, because that's weird to pull out.
Like a Jane Eyre.
That's probably like when I saw it, I'm like, it's gonna be a motivational book about like.
What is the book again? I don't remember.
I don't remember what the title was, but it is a book of like motivational quotes. It's not like he pulled out. I don't know. It would have been really funny if it was a novel. And he was just like deep. I'm like, I'm really into this book. And he's reading like Lord of the Rings or something.
It's called Inner Excellence. Train your mind for an extraordinary performance and the best possible life. After that, display on national TV, I think the book rose from like the 500th best-selling book or something like that, or it had only sold like several hundred copies to having like 500,000 orders on it or something like that. It shot up to number one on Amazon.
It's wild, the power that these guys have, like, right, the influence that they can have. That is just incredible. Yeah. I'm glad he wasn't reading, like, I don't know.
50 Shades of Grey.
It's like a romance novel. Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh. All right.
Let's talk about Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Superb owl.
Here we go. The Super Bowl is less than 2 weeks away. Get your snacks ready. I don't know what that looks like for everybody, but the Philadelphia Eagles are going to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Chiefs haven't been the typical powerhouse this year on offense that everyone is accustomed to, but yet here they are. They're still here, and it seems like most of the country is pretty sick of them. Of course, Joe and I have a personal little anecdote with this team. We've got a neighbor who's just the worst. He's just the absolute worst. Like, imagine somebody made a movie about like
Old Man Persnickety.
Yeah, Old Man Persnickety. Okay, we've got Old Man Persnickety next door. He like just anything and everything that you can think of to make him a horrible neighbor is happening, right? And for the last 4 years we've lived in this house, he has been flying high his Green Bay Packers fans flag, right? That Green Bay flag just flies and flies. Last weekend, we're out walking the dogs, and I see a Chiefs flag. Fairweather fan Jay has got himself a Chiefs flag flying high, and I think it's just a reminder that if you're a Fairweather fan, you can go take it and shove it, and we're done with you. And that's why we're sick of the Chiefs, right? Like, good for the Chiefs back in 2020, 2021. Yay. Yay, Chiefs. Good for you. Now you stir up all of these Fairweather fans like persnickety shovel up his ass Jay, and you put it up in my face. And you know what? I want to let our little Jets flag wave this week. I want to let our Jets flag wave, just teach people what loyalty means and to teach them what it means to be a true fan. And I'm rooting for the Eagles in this upcoming Super Bowl.
That was excellent.
Joe, Matt, any talk about the Super Bowl? What are you guys hoping for?
I want the Eagles to win just for Saquon and sick of the Chiefs.
Yeah, and because fuck neighbor Jay.
And screw Jay. Shout out to Jay. You suck.
Right? I mean, if we're real about this, you want the Eagles to win because you like the one dude.
But also, I can definitely get behind the spite victory. Just to screw Jay. Screw you, Jay. Screw you.
I mean, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Joe?
I mean, I just have to give you flowers because that was like the most amazing rant surrounding a football game that I think I've ever heard. I mean, I'm sold. I'm rooting for the Eagles.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to say that anyway, but I only meant it half-heartedly, but now.
Yeah.
I mean, let's go. Let's go, Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly? Is that the
Yeah.
phrase?
Fly, Eagles, fly. Whew. I feel like after that, how can they not? How can they not?
I hope they hear about Jay.
When they hear about Jay, this Fairweather fan, it's like, it's not even a small Chiefs flag. Guys, this flag.
It's like on a flagpole.
It's on a flagpole? I'm going to say we're talking like 4 feet, maybe 5 feet by 5 or 6 feet.
Does it still have like the new fold creases in it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's bright as day. Red and orange or whatever color that is, yellow.
That's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, it may as well be an Amazon tag on that, you know? It is embarrassing. I hope he treats his wife better than he treats the Packers.
I hope he poops his pants on his tractor.
Yeah. Well, I knew that was coming.
That's like, I've been around you long enough to know when somebody's getting that wish.
That's your curse move on anybody who crosses you. Pants pooping.
I mean, he'll poop his pants sooner than later. He's in his 70s.
He may have already.
He's so old. He's so grumpy. Oh my god.
Just for perspective, this is a guy who puts orange cones on his own property for where he walks his own dog behind a fenced space that he goes every day. Orange cones
he wears
for
a
safety
vest when he cuts the lawn. He like in his own yard on his own tractor. He wears a safety vest.
Wow.
Good times.
Yeah. Joe, could you please close this out?
Yeah.
Do we have predictions?
Let's do score predictions. Yeah. Matt, lead us off here.
I'm going to guess the Eagles 28, the Chiefs 24. That's what I'm hoping
That's
for.
a nice Super Bowl. Joe, you have to take it next. I'm too worked up.
Should have got Jay's.
I'm going to go knock on his door right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to go... Man, I kind of think that... I mean, I really do think that this could be... Oh, man, that Chiefs defense is it's good.
Joe, you're all whispery. Could you talk into the mic and tell
I'm
us your
sorry.
score?
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm going to go a little higher. I'm going to say 35 to 27 Chiefs.
Ooh. Oh, you think the Chiefs are going to win?
No, I'm sorry. Eagles.
Come on.
I was just thinking
you might
the
think
last,
that in your...
last score. I was just thinking the number 27 for the Chiefs. Yeah. Okay. Trisha, what do you got?
I mean, it's going to be something weird. It's going to be like 21-14. I just put that in the wrong spot, but I think it's going to be 21-14, and I think the Eagles are going to win. I think the Eagles defense have the ability to mess with the Chiefs, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think this one ends in regulation. Like, it does not go to overtime. If it does go to overtime, God help.
No,
Eagles.
It doesn't go to overtime. Okay.
All right. Well, that's going to do it. Let's get out of here. Thank you for listening to this episode of Three Cranky Jets Fans. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave us a review. It helps out the show and doesn't cost anything. And don't forget to follow us on social media for more updates, hot takes, and we'll be back soon. We haven't worked out our real schedule for this thing in the off season, but we'll do some episodes as new changes come in the Jets staff. And until then, go Jets.
Go Jets.
And Eagles.
Go Jets. Go Saquon.
Go Eagles. And
Quantum.
You know what? I'm coming back next week to do a whole solo.
Just on Jay.
If Joe loops his pants.